Hi everyone. So let's continue with the chapter called data series. And today in this video, we are going to be concentrating on the functions of the data series. In the first video, you learned how to create data series. In the second part of the video, you learned how to access elements of the data series. In the third video, you learned attributes of the data series. And here we are to learn the functions of the data series. Okay, so let's get started. The first function is a function named as head. Now, what does this function do? This function basically displays to you or returns to you the first n elements of your series. If you specify the value of n. If you do not specify the value of n, then it returns the first 5 values in the series. Okay, now for all the examples of the function, I am considering this particular series that you see on the screen. The name of the series is MTHS, and the elements of the series or the values of the series are 31, 29, 31, 30, 31, and 30. And the labels being Jan, Feb, March, April, May, and June. Okay, so if I give the function as mths.head. Now here, if you realize, I have not specified the value of n. So I told you, if you do not specify how many elements you wish to see, it shows you the first 5 elements. So can you see here that it showed you the first 5? And can you see that June is missing? Because it's only showing you from Jan to May. That's your first 5. But if you give a statement like mths.head2, then in that scenario, it only shows you the first 2 elements, and the first 2 elements are nothing but Jan and Feb. Clear? So let's go to the second one. Now the second one is called the tail function. I'm sure you must have already guessed what the tail function does. Yes, you're right. Okay, so if you specify the value of n here again, it will give you that many records, but the last n records. And if you do not specify the value of n, it's going to give you the last 5 elements. Okay, so in the first function, I'm not specifying the value of n, so I'm getting the last 5. So can you see Jan is eliminated and you get Feb to June? That's your last 5. But if I say tail 3, it'll give me the last 3 records. So last 3 records are April, May, and June. So that's what I see on the screen. So these functions are extracting certain parts of your, the data series. And because of the print function, it gets displayed. Okay. The next function is the count function. The count function, please listen to it carefully, returns the number of non-NaN values. Now, in this example, there is no NaN value. Okay, so in this example, if I use count, it will give me 6. Can you see? I have 6 values stored in the data series. But if your data series had 1 or 2 or 3 values which were NaN, I hope you remember what was NaN. NaN is not a number. And where did we generally see it? You remember creating a series using a dictionary? And when we created a series using a dictionary, the keys of the dictionary automatically became the index. But while creating the series, if we specify certain indexes, and if that index is not a key of the dictionary, you must have realized in the video 1 that it takes the NaN value. So the count function, remember, is only going to count all non-NaN values. Is that clear? Okay. Other than these 3 functions, which are important, there are some statistical functions which also, helps us to do some statistics or data analysis based on the data series. Okay, so let's assume this is the series that I have. Okay, I have a series probably showing the sales, and the labels are the names of the salesmen, and values are the sales made. Let's assume this. Just an assumption, okay? Sales made by the salesman. Now I want to know what's the maximum sales here. So I could make use of a function called max along with the data series. So here I write sales.max. So in this scenario, you would get the output as 450 because that's your maximum value in the series, correct? Next, I have something called sales.min. So what is our min value? Let's look at it. It's 100. Next, I have sum. Okay, sum will be whatever value. It's just the addition of 100 plus 300 plus 200 plus 350. Now, mean. Mean is same like the average. So what will it do? It'll add up 100 plus 300 plus 200 plus 350 plus 450 plus 100 and plus 250 once again. And it will tell you the average score there. Then coming to median. Okay, now what is a median? You must have learned it in maths, that in median, you need to arrange this value in ascending order. So I arrange it as 100, then I have another 100, then I have 200, then I have 250, then I have 300, then I have a 350 and a 450. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, correct. Now, what does this do? Median asks you or tells you what's the middle value. So here, the median would display to you as 250. Now, the question some may ask me is, now you had a middle value here because there were 7 elements. What if there were 6 elements? So you remember in maths, what happens? It's the average of the 2 middle values. Is that clear? Okay, so these are all statistics functions that you have learned in your maths in your lower classes. Then coming to mode function. Now, what does mode do? Mode tells you which element is repeated multiple times, okay, or maximum times, not multiple times, but maximum times. So if you see here, the value repeated maximum times is 100. So you get your answer as 0 and 100. Now, what is this? This is going to give me an answer in a series itself. 0 is just the default label and 100 is the value that gets repeated. Let's assume instead of this 250, you had 200. So then what happens? You have 2 values which are repeated 2 times, okay? So you get 0, 100 and 1, 200 as your answer because you have 2 mode values. 100 also repeated 2 times and 200 also repeated 2 times. But let's say you had 100 repeated 3 times and 200 repeated only 2 times, then obviously the mode is going to be 100. So mode function is returning to me actually a series. Reason being, there could be more than one element whose frequency or the number of times it appears could be the same. In all the other cases, you're just getting a single value, floating point value or an integer value. But in this scenario, mode, it returns to me a series itself because there is a possibility that there could be more elements which are repeated the same number of times. And by default, it gives labels as the labels we have learned, the default labels, which are 0 and 1. Is that clear? So these functions that you see here, these 6 are basically used for, descriptive statistics or data analysis. The other functions are just regular functions. Is that clear? So hope to see you in the next video. Bye.